If you would like a smoke alarm, you can apply online and enter your details from your computer. You need to complete your application and also one of 3 options to prove your eligibility. While you are entering your information online, you can have the option of sitting with someone from the Deaf Society of New South Wales or a deaf social or sporting organisation to provide a reference for you, as evidence that you are a deaf member of the deaf community. Another option while filling in your application is to sit with someone from an organisation such as Better Hearing Australia, Australian Hearing, or a private audiologist, to provide a reference stating that you have a profound or severe hearing loss. Your third option is to have an audiogram showing you have a profound hearing loss or a severe hearing loss in your better ear. You can scan your audiogram as either a PDF or a JPEG file. SASS has alarms available which you pay $50 for. If you can't afford $50, the Deaf Society of New South Wales can waiver the fee. You will need to provide proof of financial hardship, such as a healthcare card or evidence that you received the Disability Support Pension, DSP, or if you are under 18, evidence that your parent or guardian receives a carer's pension or DSP, or a support letter from a case manager, or other evidence that you cannot afford the $50 fee. You will need to scan this document. It can be a PDF, JPEG, or Word file. If you don't have these documents available, you are still able to apply. There are 6 different sections in the form. Section A contains information about you. Section B confirms that you are deaf or hard of hearing. Section C explains the various alarms available and allows you to choose the alarm you prefer. Section D provides payment options. Section E provides advice for people who are over 65 or who would have physical disability installing the alarm themselves. Section F contains a final checklist, so you can check that you have provided all the information you need to. Section A. Question 1. What is your first name? Question 2. What is your last name? Question 3. What is your address, including your suburb and postcode? Question 4. What is your postal address? If it's the same as question 3, please tick the box. If it's different, enter it. It's important we know where to mail your alarm. Question 5. Please enter the best number to contact you on between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Please tick whether the number is voice, SMS, TTY, or fax. Question 6. What is another number we can contact you on? Please tick whether the number is voice, SMS, TTY, or fax. Question 7. Please note your email address if you have one. It is quicker to contact you via email than through post. Question 8. What kind of a home do you live in? Select one of the options listed. Do you live in a home that you own? Do you live in a rented home? Do you live in a Housing New South Wales home? Do you live in community housing? Do you live in a home where part or all of your rent is paid for by Housing New South Wales? Do you live in disability-funded accommodation? If you live in another type of accommodation, please note what type. If you selected any of the accommodation types with an asterisk, you don't need to complete any more of the form. Instead, contact your accommodation organisation. If it's Housing New South Wales, they will provide you with a free alarm and installation. If it's community housing, they will provide you with a free alarm. If Housing New South Wales pays all or part of your rent, Housing New South Wales will provide you with a free alarm. If you live in disability-funded accommodation, they will provide you with a free alarm. If you are unsure, please ask the Deaf Society of New South Wales for assistance. If you selected Other, please enter Caravan or Mobile Home, etc. It is important you tell us, as we need to know where in your home the alarm will be installed. Do you have a Department of Veterans Affairs gold card? Or a white card issued for hearing conditions? The Department of Veterans Affairs provides cards to former members of Australia's Defence Force. In some cases, spouses, widows or widowers may also receive cards. If you selected Gold Card, there is no need to continue. Instead, contact the Department of Veterans Affairs to organise a free alarm and installation. If you selected White Card, please check with the Department of Veterans Affairs to see if you are eligible to receive a free alarm and installation. If you have a white card but it's not for a hearing condition, please continue completing the form. Choose whether you have a gold card, a white card issued for hearing conditions, or no Veterans Affairs card. Question 10. How old are you? Select one of the options listed. If you are under 16 but live independently, please select Yes. Independent means you are living away from home or a carer. It's important we know whether you live independently or not, so we know whether your accommodation is at higher risk of fire. If you are aged 16 to 18 and you live independently, tick Yes if you live away from your parents or a carer. The other categories are 19 to 24, 25 to 34, 35 to 44, 45 to 64, and 65 and over. Question 11. Are you a client of Enable New South Wales? We just need to know how many clients of Enable New South Wales apply for statistical purposes. Please select Yes or No. Question 12. Are you Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander? Please select yes or no. Question 13. What language do you use at home? Please select Auslan, English, or other. Question 14. Who lives in your home? Select one from the options listed. Do you live alone? Do you live in a household where the other adults in the household are deaf? Do you live in a household where the other adults in the household are hearing? Question 15. Do you have a physical disability or limited mobility? If you select yes, please explain the nature of the disability, or else select no. Question 16 is optional. Is there any further information which the Deaf Society could use to help us decide how urgently you might need an alarm? It may be that you live in a remote area, or that you work night shift and your children are alone in the house while you work. You may be caring for someone with a disability. If the Deaf Society of New South Wales receives a large number of applications, we will use the information in this form to help us prioritise. If you are not selected in this round, your application will be put in the next round of applications. Section B. Please pick one of the options. Option 1. Choose this if you are sitting with someone from the Deaf Society, a deaf social or sporting organisation, is providing a reference stating that you are a culturally deaf person and involved in the deaf-blind or deaf community. Option 2. Someone from Better Hearing Australia, Australian Hearing, or a private audiologist is providing a reference stating that you have a profound hearing loss or a severe hearing loss in the better ear. Option 3. An audiologist is providing an audiogram showing you have a profound hearing loss or a severe hearing loss in the better ear. You need to scan the audiogram and provide it in either PDF or JPEG format. To upload the audiogram, click here. Option 4. If your referee isn't present, or you don't have an audiogram, continue completing the form. At the end, click Download, print out the document, and give it to your referee to sign. Or attach your audiogram and send it to the Deaf Society later. Question 2. If you ticked option 1 or 2 for the previous question, have your referee complete the details, sign your form and return it to you. Then you send the signed form to the Deaf Society. Section C. To help you decide which alarm you want, please keep watching so that you have a better understanding of which alarm to choose before you make your decision. The alarm meets mandatory Australian Standard 3786. The alarm meets the non-mandatory Australian Standard 1603.17. This means it has to be checked and dusted on a monthly basis. If you move house, you can take the alarm with you. The alarm needs to be installed by an electrician. It is suitable if you own or are building your own home. The smoke detector has a lithium battery that lasts 10 years. The smoke detector has cables that connect to the strobe light and the vibrating pad. The strobe light has a cable to connect to the power point. There is a test button on the smoke detector to check if it is working. If there is a false alarm, you can stop the alarm with the hush button. If there is a false alarm, the alarm will stop after 30 seconds. How long the warranty period is. The alarm can be connected to other smoke alarms of the same brand. So that all alarms will work if there is a fire, but only if they're the same brand. Question 1. Please tick the alarm you would like. There are 3 alarms. The Brooks battery, the Brooks wired, and the mains smoky. Section D. You will need to pay for some of the cost of the alarm. SASS will pay the rest. If we receive large numbers of applications, the Deaf Society of New South Wales will give priority to those at the highest risk. If your application is not successful in round 1, it will be considered in the next round. You can withdraw your application and you will receive your $50 back in full. Question 1. How will you pay? Choose one of the 4 options. Pay in cash at the Deaf Society of New South Wales office. Pay by cheque or money order. Make it payable to the Deaf Society of New South Wales. Pay via online banking. Include the Deaf Society of New South Wales name, account number and BSB number. The reference should be your surname and first initial, then SASS. Pay with your credit card. The cost is $50 plus a fee of $1.50, so the total cost is $51.50. Tick whether it is Visa or MasterCard. Fill in your credit card number. Fill in your name as it appears on your card. Fill in the expiry date. Fill in the CVN, the 3-digit number on the back of your card. When you've completed the form, click to process payment. Question 2. If you are in financial difficulty, you can request an exemption from the $50 fee. You will need to provide evidence. You can provide a copy of your healthcare card number, or you can provide evidence that you received the Disability Support Pension, DSP. Or if you are under 18, you can provide evidence that your parent or guardian receives a carer's pension or DSP. Or you can provide a support letter from a case manager. Or you can provide other documents to show that you cannot afford the $50 fee. To upload your supporting documentation, scan your document as a PDF, JPEG or Word document file, and then click to upload the file. Alternatively, you can click to say that you are not providing a scanned version. When you've completed the online form, mail your supporting documentation to the Deaf Society. Section E. Installation support. This is only available with the Brooks battery and the mains Smoky. If you are under 65 and are able to climb a ladder and change a light bulb, you can install a smoke alarm yourself. There is information about installing the alarms on the Deaf Society of New South Wales website and on the DVD. Contact the Deaf Society of New South Wales to be sent the DVD. If you are over 65, have real difficulty climbing a ladder and aren't able to get friends or family to help, you can contact the Deaf Society for assistance. Do you need help installing your alarm? Select yes or no. If you ticked no to the last question, you can move on to section F. If you have watched the videos that explain how your alarm works, but you found them difficult to understand, you can have the firefighters come to your home to install your alarm and explain how it works. If you think you may have difficulty in communicating with the firefighters, you may ask for an interpreter when the smoke alarm is installed. If you need an interpreter during the installation appointment, tick yes. The Deaf Society of New South Wales will arrange an interpreter to attend your smoke alarm installation appointment. You must contact the Deaf Society of New South Wales to ensure we know when your smoke alarm installation is booked, so we can book and confirm an interpreter for your appointment. Section F. This is the final checklist to ensure that you have completed everything. 1. Enter your name to confirm that all the information you have given is correct and that all the following questions have been answered. 2. Tick once you've made sure that Section A is correctly completed. 3. Tick once you've made sure your referee has filled in Section B or that you have attached your audiogram. 4. Tick that you have chosen the alarm you want and understand how it works, and that you understand you cannot change your mind about which alarm you would like. And that you understand that the alarm meets the mandatory Australian standard 3786, but that it does not meet the Australian standard 1603.17. 5. Tick once you've made sure that you have completed the payment details in Section D. 6. Tick once you have made sure that you have completed Section E. 7. Tick that you understand that the Deaf Society of New South Wales will give your information to your smoke alarm supplier so that they can supply and maintain your alarm. And that you understand that the Deaf Society of New South Wales will also provide your information to the New South Wales Government for statistical purposes, and that the Deaf Society of New South Wales will ask for your feedback on SASS, and that the Deaf Society of New South Wales will not pass on your information to anyone else. 8. Tick that you understand that the Deaf Society of New South Wales is distributing alarms through 8 rounds over 3 years, and that if your application is successful, you may have to wait up to 2 months for your alarm. And that if your application is unsuccessful, the Deaf Society of New South Wales will keep your application and your $50 and consider your application again in the next round without your needing to reapply. And you also understand that if you want to withdraw your application, your $50 will be refunded. Once you have ticked all the boxes in this section, please enter your name and today's date. Finally, click Finish to submit your application.